This is CBS.
This is Frank Ranicky, and just ahead on Eyewitness News at 11, a hostage drama at an Alabama elementary school has ended peacefully with the arrest of the gunman. President Reagan makes an 11th-hour appeal for millions more in aid to the countries, and tensions rise at one North Florida high school. Those stories plus sports with Ken Tomash and Mike Rucker's forecast next.
We've been staring at each other for days now, and we still have nothing.
I have something.
What?
A headache.
Great.
The problem is, if we're gonna
Barnett is everywhere in Florida.
500 locations or something, so what are our options?
We're right back where we were yesterday. Let's just recommend not going into Florida.
Bob, how long have you been with the bank now?
Maybe you should look at the bank the other banks are looking at.
Never before has so much technology been applied to the marriage of meat and bun.
You can cut the time it takes to make a burger. You can cut the time it takes to cook one. And in the end, you can cut the heart right out of a burger. All in the name of good business. Well, at Hardee's, we put a little extra care into each hamburger we serve, so we can make this cut in the name of good taste. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
The television news leader for South Georgia and North Florida, this is Channel 6, WCTV. Eyewitness News. From around the region, the most complete report of news, sports, and weather from the area's #1 news team. Now, live from Television Center, here is Frank Ranicky.
Good evening, everyone. A hostage standoff at a private elementary school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, ended peacefully late tonight. A man identified as James Harvey surrendered to authorities this evening, freeing the last of his hostages, 34 students and 1 teacher. Authorities say Harvey is a Vietnam veteran with a history of mental illness who told reporters during the day he's concerned about social problems in the United States. Amanda Bevel now has the latest from the scene of today's drama.
After about 12 hours, this hostage situation at the West End Christian School in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, has been brought to a peaceful end. 42-year-old James Harvey turned himself in to authorities after apparently watching a videotape in which Alabama Governor Guy Hunt pardoned Harvey for his actions here today. As many as 80 students were held hostage throughout the day. Many of them were released unharmed safely. 26 remained through the evening until this was brought to a peaceful end. A second gunman who was involved in this incident, his role is unclear. He was let go early in the afternoon. It's uncertain if he will be charged. As far as charges against Harvey, they are uncertain. Authorities have taken him now to the Tuscaloosa jail. Reporting for CBS, I'm Amanda Bevel.
President Reagan took to the airwaves tonight in an 11th-hour appeal for aid to the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. In an address shunned by the 3 major networks, the president appealed to Congress for $36 million in aid to the Contras, saying national security depends on House approval of his request tomorrow. The president talked of money pouring into the Sandinistas from Cuba and the Soviet Union, and that U.S. aid to counter the Soviets would be cut off without congressional support. The president added a last-minute sweetener by pledging not to release the military aid until the end of March. In the Democratic response, Indiana Congressman Lee Hamilton said the president's Contra aid proposal would simply cripple the Central American peace process. Hamilton said it's time to stop waging war and time to test the sincerity of the Sandinista government. He said more money for the Contras will only mean more repression, less democracy, and more Soviet aid to Nicaragua. Earlier today in Washington, while the Senate Foreign Relations Committee voted against recommending any further Contra aid, both pro- and anti-Contra aid demonstrators were making their feelings known on the outside. In view of the Capitol, there was a rally in support of more aid for the Contra freedom fighters, while a group called Mothers Against Contra Aid demonstrated against any further military aid funding for the rebels. What started as an apparent joke has soured race relations in one North Florida high school, and Eyewitness News reporter Carmen Cummings learned the distribution of the racial material at Swanee High in Live Oak has led to the suspension of 1 teacher.
Swanee County High School was in the spotlight recently after winning the Class 3A state football championship, an honor that left students bursting with pride and enthusiasm. But lately, that good old bulldog spirit has been shadowed by shades of racial tension. All the fireworks are over this so-called employment application filled with racial slurs against blacks. A student reportedly gave it to history teacher Sherwood Boatwright. Now he's been suspended with pay for allegedly allowing the material to circulate on campus, something Boatwright says he did not initiate.
I almost dropped my teeth when I was suspended because, I never had a minute's problem with any student, or any administration about anything.
I think that was just poor judgment, and what we're trying to do, and I mean, the teacher apologized, and right now the teacher is, we've handled a situation where the teacher is suspended right now.
Meanwhile, school leaders at Swanee High have been working to try and nip the problem in the bud before it gets out of hand.
We've never had major problems, and hopefully we won't with this. It's basically unrest right now, and that's why we're meeting with our students to try to resolve it as quickly as we can.
School officials haven't decided when or if Boatwright will be reinstated, but they are concerned about the impact his return will have on students.
Right now the hurt is still there among a lot of our students, and I feel like that if I were to ask them yes or no, they would, of course, would not want him back right now.
And I could go back Monday, and I think I could pick right up where I left off.
Boatwright has been teaching for 30 years, and he says he will not be forced into retirement, nor will he resign. Carmen Cummings, Channel 6 Eyewitness News, Live Oak.
12-year-old Heather O'Rourke, the star of 3 Poltergeist movies, has died of complications from the flu. Her condition was not believed to be serious when she developed flu symptoms Sunday evening, but she died on the way to a hospital yesterday afternoon. Movie fans first knew Heather as the angel-faced girl with the long platinum hair who was taken hostage by evil spirits and then sucked into a television in the original Poltergeist. She also appeared in a number of TV shows. Despite her acting career, though, her manager said Heather was most proud of being elected president of her 5th grade class.
They said it's coming. A quarter pound, it's new at McDonald's. Nothing like it around. New cheddar melt. The sauce is cheddar. Grilled onions, too, on a light fried bun. From McDonald's to you, it's big, it's bold. See for yourself, it's a good time for the great taste.
Cheddar melt.
McDonald's.
New cheddar melt. Now get the bold new taste of a cheddar melt sandwich for just $1.49. Cheddar melt, a quarter pound of beef, grilled onions, a light fried bun, and that delicious cheddar cheese sauce. Cheddar melt, just $1.49.
There are stories so brutal and savage that you'd never in your worst nightmare thought it could ever happen to innocent children. On the next Oprah Winfrey Show, meet parents who lost all conscience and committed horrendous, heinous physical battering and abuse against their own children. How can a parent be filled with such neglect and hatred to torture their own child? We'll talk to them on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Join us Wednesday morning at 8 here on WCTV Channel 6.
There's a spirit in America. It's grown up with Donahue. It's the freedom of expression. It's the place to air your views. Speak your mind, America. America speaks its mind. Speak your mind, America. America speaks its mind on Donahue.
Join Phil Donahue weekdays at 9 on WCTV.
Well, if you're not sure where the economy is headed, don't feel bad. Even the experts aren't sure. They're divided over how to interpret a 3rd consecutive monthly drop in the index of leading economic indicators. 3 drops in a row often signal a recession. Florida legislative leaders have optimistically predicted they will finish the current special session on medical malpractice by Thursday. Eyewitness News reporter Dick Kane tells us that's in spite of major differences that remain on several key issues.
It was a class picture of sorts, except the class of 1988 is not very happy. The Florida Medical Association brought over 200 doctors to Tallahassee for this week's special session. Some have been forced to shut down their practices because of the constant threat of lawsuits.
No, because I was afraid to go to the emergency room. Every patient that I saw presented a problem and a fear that I might be sued.
The comprehensive medical malpractice bill being debated includes arbitration panels to resolve malpractice disputes, the capping of certain damage awards, protection for